Okay, we got All Might is Superman done right from Lukewarm Takes. Okay,
Live in a world made of cardboard, always taking constant care not to break something, to break someone. When discussing Superman as a character, the first thing that
mm-hmm.
many people would think of is his strength. So many discussions involving Superman discuss him in terms of his strength and who he can or can't beat in a fight. Could
Well, yeah, because I don't know, like that's the more interesting part. Well, that's an interesting part, not the interesting part. I mean, the Superman aspect of Superman and all the stuff he can do on Earth is just like normal on his home planet of Krypton. I mean, that's just Kal-El being a normal guy on his other planet. But to us, like Earthlings, it's like all this stuff seems super spectacular. The actual interesting part of Superman is Clark Kent, which would be his unique take on what an average American person in like a New York style city is. That's the interesting thing.
Could Superman beat Batman? Could Superman beat the Hulk? Could Superman beat Saitama? Superman feels like the proverbial wall that your favorite overpowered character has to climb in order to be considered strong. However fun these hypothetical fisticuffs can be, it reduces the character of Superman down to just how hard he can punch.
Mm-hmm.
It ignores the character of Superman in favor of the powerhouse. Personally, I feel like if all you take away from Superman is how strong he is, you're not fully appreciating the character and what he represents. You are
I mean, because I mean, Superman is just like the combative. Uh, like some people would argue that Superman is like Kal-El being his like true self, and that whenever he's just regular guy Clark Kent, I mean, you have like Clark Kent on the farm, and then you got Clark Kent interacting with people in public. That it's like his version of a regular American. What are they? They're nerdy. They're dorky. They got glasses, like gelled hair all the way down. What else? They're like if there's a sign of trouble, they just like they're out. I mean, that's what most people do. They try to avoid combative things. All right, they're supposed to be like opposites of each other. Conversely, Superman is everything that Clark Kent is not. He runs toward the danger rather than running away from it.
removing what makes Superman special, and you are left with an overpowered godlike entity rather than what the character of Clark Kent is supposed to be. This will probably be the most controversial thing I say in this video, but if all Superman is to you is power, then you don't really like Superman. You enjoy spectacle, strength, and cool battles. It's perfectly fine to enjoy a character for their displays of power, but
Mm-hmm.
if that's all you get out of the character, you're missing the point of why the character was created in the first place. If Superman is as interchangeable to you as the Hulk or Gojo or Kratos or Omni-Man, then you're not fully appreciating the character in its entirety.
I mean, yeah, there's like nuanced conversation around like all of Superman and whatnot, but it depends on like what level of the character you're talking about and also who your audience is or whatever. I mean, for like most people, like when you say Superman, like people compare Superman to like Captain America. He's like the Boy Scout, good guy, lawful good, always does the right thing. you know I mean, most people don't even read the comics where the story or the character is like more fleshed out. A lot of times people just only know Superman from either the old shows or something, or uh like the movies. And understandably the movies try to like give like a more whole character like examination of like Clark Kent and Superman. But still, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like Superman's gonna try to do the best thing for everybody.
I don't mean to shame anyone for enjoying power scaling. As a person who makes videos on anime, I have engaged with power scaling for my entire life and still do. I love thinking about the logistics of who would win in a fight and how one character's powers would interact with another.
Oh
However,
yeah.
while I appreciate power scaling, I don't want the discourse around Superman to be reduced to who he could beat in a fight.
I mean, but that's the more entertaining thing. I mean, because if we're not talking about the combat bullshit of Superman and every other entertainment character, what are we talking about? Their personality, their character traits, what they would do, their motivations. I mean, granted, that's great for like character development. And I don't know, like if I was like a little kid, like I'd be more interested in like the bombastic actions of what a character is doing and not really look at like the motivations or their personality, what makes a character do the things they do. I mean, uh, maybe that's like a I don't know, like a human thing, but
Think more conversations need to be had about the themes and messages of overpowered characters as opposed to simply how hard they can hit or how big of an explosion that they can make. This is how we avoid making misguided assumptions comparing the role of one character to the role of another character. This is how we avoid misinformation stating that one character is simply the anime version of Superman just because they have surface level similarities. And so, without further ado, let's address a certain Super Saiyan in the room.
Hey,
Goku.
it's me, Goku!
Yeah,
Goku is not Superman.
no.
On paper, Goku is the most obvious Superman parallel in anime. Both characters are super powerful aliens that escaped a planet that exploded and were raised by kind farmers and ultimately grew up to become the strongest defenders of their adopted homeworld.
Which is kind of hilarious when you put it like that. It's like, bro, there's this one video where I saw uh, people comparing the Harry Potter story to like the Star Wars story, and it's almost 1-to-1 about the same. I was like, no way, dude. But I mean, that's like whatever. Um, yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
These similarities are undeniable, but ultimately surface level. Akira
Yeah.
Toriyama's primary inspiration for the creation of Goku was never Superman, but instead it was always Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. Hence why he had a monkey tail, why he fought with a staff, why he sought out adventures and battles, and why his name is literally Son Goku. If you need more proof, look no further than Akira Toriyama's original design for Goku, which was just a cuter, younger looking version of the Monkey King. Even though Goku's origin in Dragon Ball Z was nearly identical to Superman's, Goku is not meant to be a Superman-esque figure and was supposed to be an archetypal Monkey King parallel. Goku's characterization throughout all incarnations of Dragon Ball has always been defined by combat. He was raised in the woods by a martial artist, and while Grandpa Gohan did try to teach him proper morals, he mostly raised Goku the best way he knew how, by teaching him how to fight. And on top of that, fighting is quite literally in his DNA. Goku's Saiyan heritage gives him a biological inclination and desire to seek out opponents for battle. It is genetically impossible for a Saiyan to say no to a test of strength even at the risk of their own safety or the safety of others.
I mean, it's the same thing with Kryptonians. If I recall the lore a little bit, I mean, I'm horrible, but like the Kryptonian race, like on Krypton, it was very like Spartan-esque, uh, of like all like the population was literally like molded to be like the best of the best, like Kryptons to like go on and survive, and over the course of time, then you just like slowly just form this like super population of of Kryptons through what was it called? Not genetic modified, but like selective. What's it called? Like selective breeding, and it's like you end up with like this super race uh of Super Saiyan, or no, of Kryptons. And then if you look at the Saiyan lore, I mean, was it the same? My DBZ lore like recollection is just horrible. um, if I recall, like the Saiyans, they just went from planet to planet, and if they could conquer you, they would. I think that's how it went.
This inherent biological need to seek out stronger opponents is tied to Goku's thematic story. Goku's story has always been about bettering yourself and becoming a better person. There's a reason why Goku and Dragon Ball have become the inspiration for so many people to hit the gym. For Goku,
Oh yeah,
his version of self
oh yeah, that was me. That's literally me. Whenever I'm in the gym, right there, literally me.
improvement is taking on stronger and stronger challenges and climbing higher and higher walls. He breaks his limits time and time again because that is who he is. Because of his internal desire to become stronger, as well as his being the thematic representation of self-improvement, Goku will always seek out a good fight. Removing fighting from Goku would be removing Goku from Goku, and then you're basically left with Gohan. Meanwhile,
Oh,
on the other side of the planet, Clark Kent has always been a strong advocate for
well, if we're gonna like compare Goku to like, what are we doing? Are we comparing like Goku to like Superman in terms of like the holistic character? Because Goku doesn't really, does he have like an alternate identity? There is like, Goku's just Goku all the time. The thing with Superman is like he's got the identity of Superman and then the identity of Clark Kent, which is just normal guy. Goku's just always Goku. He's never really like hiding from anything. So there's no I don't know, trying to like, I mean, maybe there is, cuz like when he went to what was it, like one of the tournaments in like the Buu Saga, he had to like nerf his strength or whatever whenever he's like hitting a bag. So it's like you can't let on that we're super strong, okay? Just go in the bell curve. And here comes Vegeta. Like everyone just subsequently hitting like slightly harder and harder. Here comes Vegeta, just bang, destroys the damn thing. It's like I don't give a fuck. I'm super strong. um, there's no real like self nerfing yourself, but I don't know. I think Goku compared to Superman, like and like each character trying to figure out like who's more interesting. I think Superman with Clark Kent is more interesting than just Goku.
for peace and diplomacy. The man of tomorrow avoids fighting the best he can because he knows that if he has to fight someone, he will win and he will have to hurt them. As he states in Justice League Unlimited during his final confrontation against Darkseid, I feel like I live in a world made of cardboard, always taking constant care not to break something, to break someone. The reason I opened the video with this line is because it perfectly blends Superman's strength with his characterization. Clark was adopted by two people who were the best that humanity had to offer, and they in turn raised him to be the pinnacle of human goodness.
Bro, I just noticed that that version of Superman looks crazy, like handsome Squidward. Like, tell me I'm wrong, dude. What is up?
To be the pinnacle of human goodness. Being the epitome of humanity's inherent goodness means that you have the strength to fend off evil for sure, but it also means that you should try your hardest to mitigate harm to others. As someone who can destroy a city block if he sneezes wrong, Superman has a really hard time not hurting people by just existing.
But I mean, ultimately, a lot of the problems Superman solves are like the end product of like a bunch of other decisions. Like Superman doesn't really have to, or like a lot of characters really, that are falling this like Superman-esque type of what do you call it, role in just entertainment. Like whenever these characters are dealing with problems, the problems they're dealing with are like direct and very well, they're all like either aliens or some sort of catastrophic disaster or something, but they're never really dealing with decisions that normal people have to go like deal with like on a day-to-day basis. I mean, that's more of a something that Clark Kent is more akin to do. That's why I think Superman's a little more like interesting. You know, if you're like, yes, Superman could help someone from like jumping off a building and from like killing themselves from suicide or whatever. Um, he could, you know, help them, try to reason with them and like make them not want to take their life. But you know, I forgot like what comic it was that he's like sitting up there with someone. He's like, I know you could save me, and that just made that person like more depressed. But Superman was like, I won't save you. That's your choice or whatever. And you know, after a couple panels of like him talking and like just reasoning with the person, like it was his like that comic or whatever, that instance was like a great um I don't know, like snippet of Superman not taking the stereotypical Superman like strength route to solve a problem. It was more along the lines of like emotion, reason, and trying to like just talk to somebody and like trying to understand and empathize, sympathize with them, uh, and trying to convince them to not take their life and like understand them a little bit better. Um, I don't think Goku has ever solved a more deeper issue with anybody, or maybe he has, but I'm forgetting. Or dealing with anything like on a deeper level outside of just like external forces of like man, man versus beast, man versus environment, man versus like himself, like inner self or something like that, which is like the main types of like enemies that like go for stories or whatever.
So when he is presented with an antagonist, he will always try to reason with them first. He will even eat a few hits to try his hardest to find a peaceful solution with his villains. He knows that if he gets into a fight, it could lead to unintended casualties, but it would also mean that he would have to personally bring harm to someone, which is something he hates having to do. A battle will always be Superman's last resort, unlike Goku, who
Yeah.
will abandon his family in a heartbeat to train the reincarnation of his strongest enemy so that he could give him a good fight in the future. If Superman were to enjoy fighting, and if he were to be motivated to seek out battles to test his strength just like Goku, he would no longer be Superman. The Man of Steel only puts his fist up when given no choice. Sure, Goku and Clark are both deemed Earth's mightiest protector, but Goku's Saiyan nature forces him to seek out stronger and stronger opponents.
And I think with like later and later iterations of whatever multiverse we are in with Dragon Ball, I think the guys try to give Goku a little bit more depth and motivation into like not fighting, but understandably, you know, like back in the day, it's like there's Goku, he turns Super Saiyan, I want to see him fight. I want to see the animation. That's what anime is about. It's about like the action. All right. If I don't want to watch action, I'm go watch something else or whatever. But everybody knows it's like the brand of Dragon Ball is linked to like really good animation and fighting and like bombastic like fight scenes and like beams and shit. That's the cool part. All right. Nobody wants to see Goku just sitting there like reasoning himself out of a fight.
This Saiyan nature has on multiple occasions jeopardized the entire planet.
Yeah, when he gave the sensu bean to Cell.
Family. On the other hand, Superman's human nature makes it so that he will always choose the most peaceful and humane alternative to conflict whenever he can. Even though humanity is capable of immense cruelty, Superman represents the human potential for goodness. Goku is defined by his strength, his love for battle, and his constant pursuit of self-improvement. Superman is not defined by his strength, he is defined by his humanity. Superman is altruism incarnate and presents to the world a model to aspire to be. He is the quintessential superhero. Now, I'm not saying that one character is better than the other, but it is pretty clear when
I mean, yeah. I mean, for like to try to figure out which one is the best character is like stupid because like I could be in the mood for like this is all like entertainment. First of all, I could be in the mood for like some good ass action or whatever, or I could I mean, both of them are good. I'm not saying which one's better or whatever, but it's just like it's like a subgenre of like, what do you want to see? Do you want to see some Superman or do you want to see some Dragon Ball? I mean, I don't think it really matters.
When you consider their characterizations beyond the surface level similarities, that Goku is definitely not anime's answer to Superman. I would say that Gohan has more in common with Superman than Goku does, considering he does actively avoid conflict, seeks the most humane solutions, and puts the well-being and safety of his loved ones before anything else.
But I will also say on my little gym playlist, like random ass songs, there is no Superman on there. There is a lot of like Dragon Ball AMVs.
We also shouldn't forget the Great Saiyaman era, no matter
Ugh.
how hard we try to forget.
Yeah.
So, if Goku isn't the Superman of anime, then who is? Well, there is really only one real answer here. In
Enter.
fact, in the past decade and a half, the only on-screen character that ever came close to accurately portraying Superman to portraying Clark Kent was this guy. I can do this all day. And also this guy.
Oh,
But I'll go
Captain America and All Might.
down that rabbit hole another day. That was a snippet from the first video I ever uploaded to my channel an entire year ago.
Nice.
Back when I had a whopping 0 subscribers. I really wanted to revisit the video that began this channel, so to all 184 of you who watched that Superman video, this is a sequel you probably weren't waiting for but are getting anyways.
Nice.
Let's dive into why All Might is anime's perfect Superman. One of the biggest ironies of this entire video is that the author of My Hero Academia, Koei Horikoshi, said that his inspiration for All Might
Bro, what is this like Deku ass face on Goku? Oh fuck.
is none other than Son Goku. Despite the character being the best anime Superman we've ever seen. It's no secret that My Hero Academia takes a lot of inspiration from the likes of Marvel and DC comics. There are a lot of volume covers of MHA that Horikoshi has drawn that are direct homages
Damn. That's kind of crazy when you do it like this.
to Marvel and DC comic book covers. I wouldn't put it past Horikoshi to have been inspired in some part by the character of Superman when writing the manga, and especially when creating All Might. The entire superhero society in My Hero is upheld by the broad shoulders of its number one hero. The balance of the world is maintained by All Might, whose altruism and willingness to save people are his defining character traits. Toshinori Yagi is driven by his unending desire to become a pillar of hope in an increasingly chaotic world. He wanted everyone in the world to ease their worries as long as he was around. He wanted to be the light that banished the fear from the hearts of all people in this world. He wanted to become an example of what being a true hero is supposed to be. Essentially, he wanted to become Superman, and he achieved it. Before the story even began, Toshinori became the archetypal representative of human goodness and heroism that Superman represents. The signature smile that he flashes to the people that he saves serves the same purpose as the S on Superman's chest. It is a symbol that lets the world know that they will be okay. It announces
I mean, yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I don't know. I was gonna say something that's like not even related, but whatever.
to the public that his strength and power will be used to protect the innocent. It reminds everyone that goodness and justice will always triumph over evil. All Might's smile is intrinsic to his character and invokes the same feeling in the world of My Hero Academia that Superman does in the DC universe. And that feeling is hope. This is what it means to be the symbol of peace, to hold up a society with not just your strength, but with your pure presence and aura. When you radiate so
I mean, but like, what are we talking about? Like, what is this? Like, I could just as easily say this is like walk softly and carry a big stick. All right. And it's about the same thing. Does might make right? Because, I mean, essentially, no one's going to do anything bad because this guy is like strong enough to like just put down anybody. Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, understandably, both Superman and All Might want people to, have the option to choose something and them to uh, probably choose the option that benefits most people. But, that hope, selflessness type of vibe. But again, like the issue is that by the time these guys are in here solving the problems, which are the symptoms of like other things, to like the third, fourth, fifth degree, like a lot of the times in like real life, like people aren't really faced with like these cataclysmic levels of issues. I mean maybe they are, and I'm just like ignorant. Um, but a lot of the times, like if you were to like live your life like in real life, like either All Might or Superman, you would just end up, I think, just like doing so much more for everyone else and so little for yourself. I think, and I don't know that there's something that feels wrong about that because I don't know, it feels like you'd get like burnt out, and it kind of like minimizes your own self, like pleasure versus like I gotta keep helping everybody around me versus like God, I need a break and I gotta just do something for myself. Um, type of vibe, but a lot of the times, like with Goku, All Might, and Superman, like they always, almost always, come out on top. And what's like the moral of the story? You have to be. Uh, I mean, I said already, like walk softly, carry a big stick. Might makes right. I mean, because a lot of times they just end up beating the other guy. Do they not? Like, are any of these guys known for losing a shit ton? No. Goku wins a lot of the times. All Might wins a lot of the times. Superman wins a lot of the times. In fights or whatever. It may not be the case of like it's always like that, but for the most part, they are always uh like beating the bad guy, saving the day.
So much hope through your actions, attitude, and power that you can calm down anyone even when they're in life-threatening danger. That's when you've perfectly captured the essence of Superman. There is one other quality that makes Superman, that makes Clark Kent who he is. This quality is what the entire series of My Hero Academia is built upon. All Might is not only the strongest hero, but he also serves a certain role in the lives of everyone in the story, from Endeavor to Bakugo, and especially to Izuku Midoriya. He gives them all something that Superman gives to the civilians of Metropolis and every other hero in the DC universe: inspiration. My Hero Academia was built on the inspiration that All Might gave.
Yes, it is. I think it's not just inspiration. It's, yeah, it is inspiration, but it's also fear. All right, like what if All Might was actually real? Okay, would you be trying to do crime if you knew All Might was like just in the city that you were in? No, you wouldn't be trying to do crime, or at least not directly. You're not trying to steal like a purse from a lady walking down the street. No, you're gonna do crime in a different way. It's gonna take place in a business. You might take a couple of dollars from the register, pocket it for like a couple years, and it's like, oh, is Allmark gonna come pick on me because I stole $1 out of the cash register for like 20 years at my job? No, he's not gonna. He's just not. It's like a bunch of little things, like little, uh, tiny things
Deku to become a hero. He shows the world what true heroism looks like. The entire story of MHA shows Deku following the shining example that All Might set in order to become the world's greatest hero. With or without his powers, All Might hangs on to his altruism and his desire to save others. Saving people is as natural to Toshinori as it is breathing. Deku is very much the same way. His body moves on its own to save others, as if being a good person is inherently tied to his personality, which was molded and influenced by the heroism that All Might inspired in him. Inspiration is a big theme in My Hero Academia. Kirishima was inspired by Red Riot, Hawks was inspired by Endeavor, and even villains like Dabi, Toga, and Spinner were inspired by Stain. But all of them, in one way or another, all looked up to All Might as the true, unadulterated pinnacle of heroism, much like how in the DC universe and in superhero literature as a whole, almost everyone looks up to Superman as the definition of a true superhero. Within the confines of his own story, All Might represents and embodies the two qualities that make Superman who he is: hope and inspiration. While I believe that Goku can certainly give hope to his friends and inspire many others, this isn't Goku's primary character trait.
Yeah, like I think for Goku, I would probably say something along the lines of it's a little more self-serving to be, I'd probably say the word like resilient and enduring. Probably more like the Rocky Balboa type. Like, just get in there, get beat up. Like, even though you're getting beaten up, you're beating up the other guy, and then you're just gonna outlast him. And then it's like, oh, at the end of the day, I had like one more like snippet of stamina, and I overcame you. And you're just like, it's a little more like self-serving as opposed to trying to be a symbol of hope. I mean, yeah, you could make the argument of like, oh, he's trying to be like inspirational for like his son or his family or his friends, his circle of friends that he's always hanging out with. I mean, yeah, you could argue that, but I mean, then you'd have to look towards like what are the motivating factors of Goku, and then yeah, you already like mentioned it. It's like I'm just looking forward to the next fight and self-improvement.
Goku's role in his story is to battle and get stronger ad infinitum to demonstrate the value of persistent self-improvement. The role of Superman and his true anime counterpart is to be a beacon of hope and to inspire others to be heroes themselves.
But I mean, I think I could argue that also All Might and Superman were also on that power grind because both of them believe if I get stronger, I can save more people, I can battle more bigger bad guys. Okay, I mean Goku or All Might is trying to teach Deku how to use like more and more percentages of like the All Might quirk or whatever. And then what was it? Superman is like over the course of time, Superman just gets more and more powerful. He does bigger and better feats to stop and defeat bigger and badder bad guys. Right now, you have like fully sun absorbed Kal-El. He's got like the power of an entire sun in him, and he can take on like anybody or whatever. I mean, if that's not power gain, I don't know what is, dude.
Others to be heroes themselves. Thank you all.
I mean, and the evolution of all the smashes for All Might, you have like a state, and then all of a sudden he comes out with the United States smash. All right, that's like the bigger attack. He's harnessing more of the power, and same thing with Deku. Like you never see All Might demonstrating all of the other subsequent avatars that had all the previous owners of the All Might skill, but now all of a sudden Deku is like, oh, he's getting more and more All Might, and then he's also channeling the other powers to make him bigger and badder than All Might. So yes, there's like some power creep to all of this going on.
Thank you all so much for watching the video all the way to the end. Let me know in the comments down below what other videos you want me to make, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time with more lukewarm takes.
All right, that's pretty cool. I'm a fan. I dig it. I think you're pretty right though. All Might is Superman done right from like an anime perspective. I mean, I watch all of them, like Dragon Ball, Superman, and My Hero. I mean, it's all good to me. But it is cool to like examine the character, personality, motivations, and all that jazz. To figure out like what makes them tick, and yeah. Overall, cool video. I'm a fan now. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.